Hello friends, welcome to my channel. Today, let's all watch this video together from start to finish. Hope you enjoy it a lot. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more amazing videos. I'm sure you'll love it. Modern Family wasn't just a sitcom. It was a full-blown comfort zone, the kind you could fall into like a warm couch after a long day. From 2009 to 2020, it served up joke after joke, wrapped in heart and sprinkled with just enough absurdity to make everything feel both real and totally unhinged. And while every fan has their favorite chaos-fueled moment, be it Cam in full clown mode, Phil being an overgrown child, or Gloria casually threatening someone in her heels, some episodes just knew how to crank the funny dial to 11. Trying to pick just a few episodes out of Modern Family's 250 feels a bit like picking a favorite child, if all your kids were wildly funny and a little bit of a mess. It is a show you can never get bored of, and some episodes are just too iconic to forget, the kind that had fans laughing out loud, snorting at the screen, and instantly texting their group chats. You have to watch this. So here's a fun bunch of 20 laugh-out-loud episodes that you definitely cannot miss. Phil, Claire, Alex, and Haley in the show Modern Family credit, ABC. Fulgencio is one of those episodes where chaos and heart go hand in hand. It kicks off with the kind of family drama that feels all too real. Gloria just had a baby, but the real battle? Naming him. Between her strong-willed mom, Pilar, who comes storming in with opinions from another era, and Jay, who's clearly out of his depth, the whole thing turns into a baby naming standoff. Everyone's got many ideas, but no one's backing down. Jay's just doing his best to keep things calm without totally losing his cool Lily Hayes Kaufman, Lloyd Kaufman, and Catherine Corcoran talk occupy Ken Fandomwire. Over at the Dunphy house, it's business as usual, which means total mayhem. Phil's doing his best to play superdad while everything crumbles around him. The kids are knee-deep in their own mini-disasters, and Phil's out here looking like a one-man juggling act who's running out of hands. But then comes the twist that makes the whole episode sing, a brilliant spoof of The Godfather that's so ridiculous it ends up being kind of genius. While Phil's standing in church becomes the baby's godfather in the most literal way possible, Luke's off running his dad's errands in a hilariously over-the-top montage. It's campy, it's smart, and somehow it just works, and just when it's all becoming madness, the show pulls you back in with a quiet gut punch. Jay, gruff, old school, emotionally allergic Jay, suddenly decides to name the baby after Gloria's late father. It's a small moment, but it lands hard with the viewers. That's the thing with this family. They fight, they tease, they steamroll each other, but there's real love under all the hubbub. And when you throw in Gloria's loud mom and the sister who always gets overlooked, it becomes this perfect little storm of dysfunction and affection that Modern Family always seems to nail. 19 Express Christmas, Season 3, Episode 10 Mitch and Alex with Lily in the show Modern Family credit, ABC. Anyone thought coordinating a family Christmas was hard? They clearly never tried throwing one together in less than a day. In this absolute gem of an episode, the entire gang realizes they won't be together on the actual holiday, so they scramble to whip up an express Christmas celebration instead. Naturally, it all spirals into chaos before you can say pine-scented candle. The episode works so well because it splits the characters into oddball pairings, sending them off on different holiday missions. Every time the show switches up the dynamic like this, something magically amazing happens. Whether we see our flamboyant Cam trying to find the perfect sentimental gift for the tough Jay, or we see the kids being thrown into last-minute shopping madness, the episode's pacing is relentless. Modern Family's Ed O'Neill has another sitcom quietly dominating streaming. This episode perfectly captures the holiday frenzy so well that it's become a go-to rewatch for fans during the month of December. The way everyone keeps crashing into last-minute disasters, emotional meltdowns, and totally avoidable misunderstandings is all too real, but somehow still heartwarming by the end. It's peak Modern Family energy, total madness followed by a group hug. Phil with Luke and Manny in the show Modern Family credit. In the early days of Modern Family, things were still a little awkward. Coal Digger is the episode where all that awkward family closeness really comes to the surface, especially between Claire and Gloria. Everyone's still figuring each other out, and not all of it's pretty. All kicks off with Luke and Manny getting into it at school. It was typical kid stuff, but the fallout ends up being way more about the grown-ups. The air's thick with tension, and no amount of forced smiles or casual poolside small talk can cover this awkward mess up. And once that accidental cold digger slip happens, the claws come out all sharp. It's the kind of uncomfortable that makes you laugh because you've been there, trapped in a family gathering where someone says something weird, and suddenly everyone's trying way too hard to act normal. But the beauty of it? That simmering awkwardness actually cracks something open. Gloria and Claire, who've been circling each other with guarded smiles, finally let some of that mess out. It's not some big, dramatic showdown, just a quiet, honest shift. The weirdness turns into warmth. And the kids? As usual, they accidentally do all the heavy lifting when it comes to emotional breakthroughs. A playground insult somehow nudges the adults into actually growing up a little. That's modern family magic right there. Unplugged is the episode where the idea sounds simple. No screens for a day. Harmless, right? But throw in a competitive Claire, a sneaky Haley, and Phil Phil, and things unravel faster than someone trying to untangle earbuds from the bottom of a bag. Claire treats it like a noble mission, but you can practically see the steam coming out of her ears the moment someone maybe peeks at a notification. Haley, of course, finds a way to fake it with the kind of low-effort genius only she could come up with. Meanwhile, Phil, who takes everything way too seriously and not seriously enough at the same time, ends up in full slapstick mode over something basic. It's chaotic and petty, and it is exactly how most family challenges end up, more about ego than ethics. But at the end, because of Haley's sheer genius, Phil said the iconic line, "Holy crap, we've been Shawshanked." But then there's Jay, quietly spiraling into a full-blown dog whodunit because he's convinced Gloria might have done something horrifyingly hilarious to the neighbor's pet. The longer he stews on it, the funnier it gets. Part mystery, part paranoia, and all Jay being weirdly fixated in that way only he can pull off. Sofia Vergara's Throwback Thursdays, Modern Family star is on a mission with bikini dump to conquer Instagram. And off to the side, Cam and Mitchell are deep in preschool panic mode, trying to charm their way into elite academia for a toddler who couldn't care less. It's all awkward smiles and oversharing, the kind of couple meltdown that makes you want to hide behind a couch pillow. Nothing really goes the way anyone planned, but that's what makes it land. Modern chaos in all its screen-obsessed overthinking. Undeck the Halls brings that kind of perfectly imperfect holiday energy only a first-season episode can. Everything's still a little rough around the edges, characters figuring each other out, clashing in ways that are more awkward than heartwarming. But somehow, that makes it feel even more relatable. It's chaotic, loud, and just barely holding it together. Basically, like most of our real-life holidays, Claire's on a full-blown mission to crack the case of a mysterious burn on the couch. She's this close to pulling out a magnifying glass, while Phil is in full dad mode, threatening to cancel Christmas if no one confesses. The catch? Phil's way too soft for that kind of tough love. He tries to play the strict parent, but every attempt ends in nervous backtracking. You can see his sparkly, soft heart showing through. He's just not wired to be the bad cop, even with tinsel everywhere. Meanwhile, Cam and Mitchell somehow manage to ruin Santa's entire day. It's the kind of snowball effect only those two could cause, starting with good intentions and spiraling into complete mall mayhem. Add a run-in with aggressively Chipper Careless, and they are suddenly fighting a war on multiple holiday fronts. But while the rest of the family is busy accidentally setting fires, literal or emotional, Jay is off quietly trying to make sense of what the holidays look like now. Now he has Gloria and Manny in his life. The mother and son duo are introducing all these new traditions and foods that he didn't grow up with. But Jay tries his best to bring the two worlds together by being his gruff self. No grand speeches are given while doing so. We just see a man trying to meet his people halfway, even if he's not totally sure what that looks like. It's messy, it's warm, and it feels exactly like a real family trying to do Christmas. Everything is full of love, weird tension, and one couch that may never recover. This one's only the second episode of the entire show, but it already feels like everyone's falling into their wonderfully chaotic grooves. Phil's out here trying so hard to be super dad. He's on a mission to teach Luke a life lesson about responsibility. But because it's Phil, of course, things take a sharp left turn into absurdity. What starts as a sweet idea quickly turns into a giant cringe fest, with Phil fumbling through his plan like a man who read half a parenting book and decided he'd wing the rest. Luke's mostly unfazed, but Phil, well, he's the one who ends up learning the hard way. Again. Meanwhile, Mitch and Cam are still learning the ropes of parenting without totally losing their cool. They've just dipped their toes into the daycare scene, and it's a whole new jungle filled with side eyes, snack time showdowns, and those oh-so-subtle parenting suggestions from moms who basically have PhDs in judging. Mitch, forever on edge, gently suggests Cam maybe dial it back just a smidge, which, let's be honest, is like asking the sun to dim a little. Cam tries. He really does. But the dramatic hand gestures and theatrical flair can't be contained, not even by self-awareness. What really makes everything work is how clearly the show's already nailed each character's vibe, Phil with his lovable, try-too-hard energy, Mitch always a little on edge, and Cam, who's basically a Broadway show in human form. Little chaotic, super sweet, and bursting with the kind of humor that's totally Modern Family. Thanksgiving is always a bit of a circus, but in this Modern Family episode, it's like someone gave the clowns espresso. Phil's got this wild glint in his eye because he's decided he's running the kitchen this year. No one asked him to, of course, but no one had the heart to stop him either. And it all starts off with this manic confidence, like he's auditioning for a Food Network special. But the minute a turkey goes rogue, yes, another turkey, it's downhill in the most hilarious, slow burn kind of way. Phil spirals, the oven becomes his battlefield, and dinner becomes a distant dream. On the flip side, Jay and Gloria just want to bail. No noise, no drama, just some quiet time away from the full family frenzy. So they lie, harmlessly, at first. But like all good sitcom lies, it takes on a life of its own and starts running in every direction. Jay, who is terrible at sneaking around, keeps tripping over his own fibs, while Gloria manages to lie like she's hosting a telenovela. It's messy, sneaky fun. What really hits is how all these threads knot themselves together in classic Modern Family fashion. It's frantic, it's familiar, and it feels a little too real. Because let's face it, who hasn't watched a holiday dinner crumble while pretending everything's fine? Valentine's Day isn't always a staple in sitcom land, but Modern Family made it a tradition worth waiting for, and it all started with this absolute riot. Phil and Claire, trying to spice up their romantic life, go all in on roleplay. Enter Clive Bixby and Juliana, their made-up alter egos who are supposed to be sexy and mysterious. What unfolds instead is one of the show's most awkward and hysterical date nights, complete with wardrobe malfunctions and public humiliation. But it's not just about the Dunphys. Mitch and Cam get roped into helping Manny win over a girl he likes, which ends up being way more complicated than they expected. Watching two grown men try to navigate preteen romance advice while dealing with their own differing ideas of Valentine's Day is just chaotic enough to work. One of the best bits. Mitchell, who's usually the calm and collected one, lets loose and goes full drama queen when he steps in to help Manny take on his poetic rival. It's not every day you see the uptight Mitchell this over the top. But in all honesty, it's a treat for the fans. Things might not go Manny's way in the end, but the episode still wraps up with laughs and heart that Modern Family nails every single Tim space. The Disneyland episode from season 3 is like one big chaotic family roller coaster. Bright, loud, slightly exhausting, but somehow still full of charm. Sure, it might have the vibe of a sneaky corporate collab, but it leans into the madness so well that you don't really mind. Throwing the entire extended family into the sensory overload of Disneyland. Yeah. The chaos writes itself. Everyone's got their own little adventure going on, like side quests playing out in between pickles and long lines. Dylan showing up is something that Haley never sees coming. He's all dressed up, first as Dapper Dan, then as a bear, and he went full dramatic romance mode to win her back. And while it's totally over the top, there's something ridiculously lovable about how sincere he is. Manny, meanwhile, can't be bothered with Magic Kingdoms. He's too busy being a moody old soul scrolling on his phone. That kid's got the energy of a retired librarian who just wants some peace and quiet. Rashida Jones produced the best comedy show that expected from Modern Family Sofia Vergara. And then there's Gloria, glamorous as ever, but tragically betrayed by her choice of shoes. Every painful step she takes becomes a running joke, and the way her patience slowly unravels. Comic gold. She's a queen, but even queens need some comfy sneakers or sandals. Cam and Mitch, bless them, are deep in the trenches of toddler chasing. Lily's got one speed, Zoom, and they are barely keeping up, juggling parenting with fun. Theme park survival mode, and they are one wrong turn away from fully spiraling. All a bit much in the best way, hectic, heartfelt, and just messy enough to feel real there.